I'm Greg Garbos at Four Season Tools. We're going to talk about now how to install integrated shelves inside of a stationary building. We're inside of a 30 by 48 stationary building that's going to be used as a heated plant house. In this building we're running a 4-foot integrated shelf all the way along both side walls. We'll also have several freestanding benches inside this building, so the entire building will have shelf space. Because it's being used as a plant house, it'll allow us to start all of our plants, do all of our soil blocking, germinate everything that we need to germinate inside of the heated structure. So let's talk about how this is made. It's a very simple design. We have horizontal shelf braces and diagonal shelf braces. You can tell which braces they are because their ends are perpendicular. You do want to be careful if you also have a movable building as part of your project. Its ridge braces also have perpendicular ends. But basically the ridge braces, the horizontal shelf braces, and the diagonal shelf braces are the only ones where the ends aren't flattened in the same plane. Instead, they have perpendicular ends. The shelves are all made of a 17 gauge material, so they're also a little bit lighter than a typical brace for your structure. Aside from our horizontal shelf braces and our diagonal shelf braces, we also have a shelf purlin. This is also a 17 gauge purlin, so it's a little bit lighter than the structural purlins you'll use for your structure. When we put this on, we install everything using brace bands. Where we install to our sidewall hoops, we have 2 3/8 inch brace bands. We've got one at the top and we have another 2 3/8 inch brace band on the bottom. We put those brace bands on before we put our hoops on because it's easier to slide them over our hoops before we put the hoop tops on. The other thing that we try to make sure is before we put any polycarbonate or any of our outdoor plastic or anything, any of our sheeting, that we had our brace bands exactly where we wanted it before we installed everything that's behind me. When we put these in, we can put them in at any height we like. We like to install them at 3 feet off the ground. It's a nice working height. It also allows you to lean over so you can grab the front edge of a tray that's all the way back towards the sidewall. So what we did was we put our first brace band, we marked a mark on all of our sidewall hoops 3 feet up from the ground. Now that we have a mark, we know exactly where our horizontal shelf brace goes. We use a level, we put our horizontal shelf brace where we wanted it, and then we use our diagonal shelf brace, and we allowed that to just land where it landed to make sure that everything is level, both our shelf purlin and our horizontal shelf brace. On the front edge, where our horizontal shelf brace and our diagonal shelf brace meet, is where they hit the shelf purlin. Instead of these sharing a brace band, they each get their own brace band, which is a 1 3/8 inch brace band, since this is a 1 3/8 inch outside diameter pipe. When we install these, we put a black plastic purlin plug, or a pipe plug, in the end of the purlin just to give it a nice finished look. Once we have these two braces in place, we went ahead and took this shelf purlin and we just sleeved it in from the end. So we have these brace bands up nice and open, so it's easy to sleeve this purlin in from the end to get it where we wanted it. Now that we've got 3 in, since that's how many we can put on for a 12-foot purlin pipe, we're then going to secure it to the building. Right here where it touches our end wall, we're going to put a 1 3/8 inch pipe strap and secure our horizontal shelf brace to our vertical end wall stud. That will tie our shelf bracing into our structure. So one of the benefits of integrated shelves is it adds tremendously to the structure of the building. Not only does it add to the strength of the sidewall by adding some additional bracing, it also allows you to have an entire assembly that runs from your end wall to our end wall. So it's almost like you have an additional purlin on the inside of your structure that adds stability to the sidewalls of your building. Another subtle point is that if you have any doors, for example, this building has sliding doors, you want to make sure that your sliding doors are installed before you put your shelf frames in. It can be a little tricky if there's not enough clearance to get your sliding doors into your track rollers before your shelves are put into place. It's a really simple design, but we really like it a lot, and it's a really low-cost way to get a lot of bench space inside of your greenhouse.